Good evening, everyone, and welcome to EduTALK. EduTALK is a weekly virtual talk show created out of the need for a global learning community, and we focus on topics in education mostly that are impacting Caribbean nationals and nationals across the globe, with focus on the African diaspora. And these topics are critical issues that are facing education with the common goal of moving education forward and our students upward. And we feature quite a bit of people here. This evening, we are here by ourselves and we have a very crucial topic, right, Dr. Barker?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very important topic.
Yes.
Has been,
yeah.
can I say, swept under the carpet? You know, it's
Yeah.
Might even be connected to some of the things that we're seeing in society today, simply because it's still a taboo
Yeah.
subject. You know, I know we're going to talk about, and what is interesting to note is that in mental, it starts with men. So
Yes.
there's a tagline there about, you know, men and mental health. Something that we need to talk about, because can be men, you know, it needs a men in it.
Yeah. It's I saw, I should have seen that coming, with the play of words. I should have seen that coming. Oh my God. Caught me
Yeah.
off guard. I should have seen it coming. Mental health.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, there's men in it, so we should be in it as well.
Yeah. That's real. And
Yeah.
we usually, I just say, swept under the carpet because in June, we usually focus on Caribbean American Heritage Month. I hope I'm not interchanging the words incorrectly. But and then we forget that we really need to look at the calendar sometimes, because as you say, swept under the carpet. Traditionally, men don't really focus on their health so much. They focus on other things like the family, and the children, and raising your kids and making sure that they're getting everything they want. And usually they don't focus on themselves. So
Yeah. So I suppose if we're gonna talk about it, maybe we could focus a little bit on some of the social expectations and stereotypes that impact men's mental health. What you think are some of the social expectations and stereotypes that affect men's mental health from your experience?
yeah, that's a very good question. So what I've seen over the years with the social and to know is that they men macho. When you're macho man, you don't really want to say that you want to see a doctor. You don't want to have certain conversations around health, let alone mental health. No, in traditionally speaking, in my experience, our men that I've grown up with, they never want you to even mention the word mental. That even if you're saying you are mentally balanced, you're fine. They don't want word with balance at all. They think it's very bad. It's a taboo to that word, mental with men. And the other one is when it comes on,
the stereotypes.
Yeah, the stereotypes. When it comes on to the like men in a family, you really want to keep it between the boys. You don't want to talk to a woman about certain aspects of your being. So those are some of the two of the areas that I see.
So I think I would agree with you about the societal expectations that men are macho. And in some ways, it meant that men who are experiencing mental problems would think that they are not being men if they acknowledge that these issues are of. relatively successful life. So societal norms around men being macho, where macho means you don't show your feelings,
Yeah.
Can lead to even further exacerbation of a mental health condition.
Yeah.
There are stereotypes as well about how men function, what men should do. We tend to say to people, man up, and that tends to be in opposition of expressing your feelings. You need to be a man up is an expression that says, stop, act like these things impact you, focus and be a man.
Yeah.
So that message is perpetuated and reiterated and constantly used to remind young boys about what being a man includes, apart from growing up and having a beard and being a family man. You also need to be someone who hide your feelings. So,
Yeah.
it
That's
does present a paradox for men as they go through life.
yeah. You brought up some very good points there, where boys are concerned that they raise them in a certain way that they shouldn't show their feelings. And one of the point I want to go back to that you said that if you the mental state of men, that the fact that you don't share these things, that is part of your mental health, that something is going on there, negatively going on, if you don't share that part of you, that you're groomed a certain way. A couple of years ago, I was reading an article about the Caribbean, and that many people in the Caribbean are depressed, but know that they're depressed. So they compensate with hanging over the fence and talking to the neighbors for hours and hours, sharing their sadness, their stories and so on with the people, and not knowing that they're actually going through social psychological therapy with those people across the fence. And some people will visit other people and stay in their yards for hours and hours just talking, and they love it, and they connect with each other because they share that aspect of them. And some of them compensate with food. No, with men, so that's what this study was saying, that a lot of
Women do that, but not men.
yeah, men actually they gravitate towards smoking and drinking and playing a lot of dominoes and so on to get out their feelings when they score a game and knock it down on the table really hard. And
That's
so
interesting. I'd love to read that because
yeah,
I'm not finding enough. I'm a domino player.
yeah,
So, and the macho-ness that comes with playing domino and the
yeah,
kind of mannerisms that comes with playing dominoes, you are describing them. And
yeah,
as a domino player, one of the things I noticed, there's not a lot of, I don't think I've come across a lot of research around dominoes as an expression of
yeah,
let me dare say, get into some form of controversial now,
yeah.
as an expression of toxic masculinity.
No. The research is not on dominoes, It was
I know, but you give an example where domino is
oh
one
yeah.
the
That's a
expression
that's a good
closest.
one. That's a very good one that we could do. Yeah.
I mean, one of the
Because
ways in which
Bara,
yeah,
look at this. On a Friday, let's you talk about dominoes. We used to play dominoes and drink rum punch on a Friday when I was way younger than this. And we would play from Friday about 9 o'clock until the next morning.
domino.
Yeah. And I'm thinking that if we have done a research on it's possible that that's a way of expressing our
Does it represent a way in which men handle mental health in the sense of successfully handling it, or
yeah.
does the way how people play and express themselves is an indicator that there's a mental health problem?
Yeah. That I cannot answer. That's some good research question. Yeah. It's very, you have your domino tournaments, it's global
yeah,
domino tournaments. You
yeah.
could find out from your people, domino players, that is a
I
pop.
should. I've been
Yeah.
meaning to But I've been meaning to interview a few people, but most times because I'm organizing, I've never gotten around to do it. It's an excuse, really, not a proper reason, because I can interview people like this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But and I should, and because domino is such an integral part of the Jamaican society. It's almost like if you meet, like me, for example, if I meet a Jamaican who can't play domino, I am questioning their Jamaicanness. I
Yeah.
wonder what kind of Jamaicanness you can't even put a shot. Even
It's
if they're
true.
match.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's very true, you know, because
yeah,
even my daughter, my little daughter there, she's 10 now, and since she has been what, 6, 7, 8, she's playing dominoes already. She's counting, you know.
yeah. If I
Yeah,
meet a Jamaican youth, like if a man said, link this bridge and him coming to visit you at UK,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying, and him saying, can't play domino.
yeah.
You start question about whether this
Yeah.
person, in the checking passport now, seriously, you know. But the fact is there are many men who don't play dominoes. And perhaps, you see, watch here now. Here's another spin on this. So if my first question, which was, this is a way in which some men handle their challenges by
Yeah,
going to the domino table, expressing that through a sport where them can be vocal and beat the table and
yeah, yeah.
show, be macho, so to
And
speak.
shout, yeah,
And then what about the others who don't? Does that represent people who don't want to be in certain settings and
yeah.
have a kind of social isolation that comes with that, in the sense of them not play domino, so them not really hang out with people who play domino. So they don't hang out with people who are popular. They're very much just doing their own thing and maybe leading into a kind of mental. So I'm just wondering here from a research perspective,
Yeah, yeah.
is there a connection between people who remove themselves from like the domino table per se, whether that represents an indicator,
Yeah,
given
yeah.
how pivotal domino is to the Jamaican society, finding men who don't play, whether that works as a chicken and egg, or is it
Yeah.
just a scenario where you can say the fact that a man even want to go and hang out with what the majority of men are doing, does this represent a sign
Yeah.
of
Yeah, that's
a
a good, yeah. It's
of
a
a
good one.
yeah,
Of a struggle, a mental
yeah,
struggle.
it's possible, right? It might not be. I'm just
Possible.
wondering here.
Yeah,
Just
it's
wondering.
possible. Because I grew up, I play soccer too, football.
Yeah.
And we usually wonder about the boys who would sit on the side, and we say,
That
come,
don't play.
that don't play. And
Yeah.
sometimes they're withdrawn, you know.
So
And keep in
maybe
mind,
there's something, right? It's a good
yeah,
point. Maybe
yeah,
there's something about
yeah,
that social isolation
yeah.
when you look at what is considered to be the cultural
Norm.
yeah, in terms of how people relate as young people, you know. Maybe there's nothing, but that social isolation seems to be because certainly most of these sports are very open in terms of how you enter them. They are not
Yeah,
exclusive per se until you
right,
get to a
right.
certain age. A man might say, "I'm not play because you can't play domino." A
Yeah,
man might not pick you because you can't play ball.
yeah,
But there's a point where whatever skill level you bring to the table or the field, it's okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nobody really care because at that
Exactly.
time, it's not going to
Yeah,
affect the game of everyone's learning.
yeah. We just need some bodies on there.
Yeah,
So, just come and play with us and you can gain some.
yeah,
And
yeah. Yeah.
there are people on both sides too that I look on. But
Do you
let's
think
get
the
back.
Jamaican, do you think the Jamaican context, cultural norms, psyche, culture um, affect a person in Jamaica who recognizes
Yeah, yeah.
that they do need mental support, mental
My
health support?
God.
You
Yeah,
think that,
that's exactly.
do you think it
Yeah,
affects?
that's
Um,
exactly where I was gonna go with it, because you're bringing up some good points here with culture and the norms and so on. And yeah, very good questions. And if somebody is listening out there who can actually, in the social psychological world, can put these questions to practice and see if we can get some answers. But culturally, we live, and I was talking to my daughter about this, even she's not a man, but talking to her about this, with culture makes a person who the
yeah,
person is too. But does it contribute, as you said, to the mental state of people? I would,
Or does it stop people from
yeah,
expressing that they're they're experiencing mental health issues? So, like you gave a good starting point where you
yeah,
mentioned that even some men think it's wrong if they even get a cut to go. And we
yeah,
have many Jamaicans who sit on something that get worse.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
we could maybe even say that Bob Marley was an example of a
yeah,
person who had an infected toe. And from what I've read, is that he kept it until it got to a point when they checked it, they realized that, and it's a toe, you could have cut it off, right? You could
yeah,
have cut it off, but he kept that going until it's too late, by the
yeah,
time
yeah.
they really look at it.
Mhm.
But if that is for physical health, where man will say, show me now, I got a doctor for that, right? And we have
Yeah,
seen examples. What
many.
about something as unseen as
That's
mental
mental.
health?
Yeah. And what we see, and this is strictly experience, because I'm not an expert where it
Yeah,
comes on to mental health and psychology, but I've seen where if a boy or a man behaves a certain way, mentally imbalanced, a certain
yeah,
way, they will say, oh, that's John. That's how John behaves. Let's not get on his bad side. You know,
yeah.
instead of saying, wait, Johnny really needs help. This
I'm
is not,
ignorant.
yeah, he ignorant. That's what that's what they normally say. Johnny ignorant. Let's not bother Johnny. Don't say that to him. He will get upset.
Yeah.
Instead of
So we do an eggshell kind of thing rather than
yeah,
identify the issue
yeah.
and then seek um, ways to address it.
Yeah,
So
I've
do you
seen it
see
a lot.
this? So do you see this as an educational establishment, educational policy
Mhm.
issue?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's definitely in the schools. I honestly believe that we socialize our boys in schools, and we socialize, because I did a lot of research on early childhood education and boys and girls and the brain and so on. And I honestly, Miguel, I see the difference how we're treating boys and girls in school, and how we affect their mental health. Boys, how they socialize going all the way up to elementary school and high school and then eventual college. And it's stark difference from how we treat the girls, how we get them to express themselves, and how we get them to look at themselves as in a mirror, how they should behave and so on, based on, a lot of it is based on societal norms. But the boys are suffering. The boys are
Was
being,
our suffering.
yeah.
The data suggests that
Oh yes, the long and short of it is yes.
more girls graduate,
Mhm.
more girls go on into university.
Yes, yeah,
Jamaica have a high propensity of women in leadership roles. This is
yes,
something that's documented in terms
yeah.
of managers and all that. A lot of women get there. Is this connected to mental health issues?
That's a great question too. I keep on saying they're wonderful questions. It's possible. It's possible. But keep in mind also, and just this is just for the audience who are going to view this too. We have to look to the societal responsibility on boys and girls as well. So on the one hand, you might say, oh well, it's from their mental health that they want to do this, and they don't see any other way out because of what is going on in their brain. But also that some boys actually made a choice against what they're feeling, because they have to support the family. They have to push through, because they don't have any more money. Mommy
Yeah,
or daddy say, listen, anytime you reach 18, that's it. I'm not supporting you anymore. You're a man. And
yeah,
so they have to go out of their way to try to find means of making it. And I grew up with some of those people too, who said, hey, I'm graduating from high school. I can't make it anymore to college. I wish I could go on straight, but I have to go find a job. And that they are very mentally stable, and they understand that that's what they have to do. On the other hand, to respond to the question, on the other hand, with another side to it, like some of them boys, they have been brutalized in school and outside of school, abused verbally and physically, And so they don't have that capacity anymore to deal with it. They don't have the capacity. They might think that high school is just like college. Somebody is gonna stand over me. Somebody is gonna verbally abuse me. So I'm not gonna be under this regime anymore.
Yeah.
I want to be free. You know, men. I want to be a man. I want to be free. And they don't have that mental capacity to say, listen, this is not the same. And a lot of
Well,
it boils down to mentoring too. So we could, when, you know, later on, you can share and then we talk about like, how do we come through this through mentoring?
I suppose my question was going to be, how can we promote
Yeah,
mental health
yeah,
awareness? You know, how
yeah,
can we
yeah,
promote mental health awareness and support for men? Because the facilities that
yeah,
are available for everyone,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
Not
pretty
men
much
in particular.
men might not see those facilities as needed. That's why more men commit suicide. It's not a
Yeah,
Jamaican thing. It's a
that
largely
global. Yeah,
societal
yeah,
expectation of men. Men commit more violent crimes than women, not
yeah,
Jamaica only.
right.
Men are maybe routinely unemployed, certainly for Jamaica compared to women, and certainly uneducated compared to women,
Mm-hmm.
in Jamaica. I'm
Yeah.
not sure the statistics outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to look at a way, because we can always accept that good mental health will lead to better citizens, in the
Yes.
sense
Yeah.
people are able to make better decisions about temporary situations. Because the issue that we have with mental health at times is people not being healthy in a mental way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who then characterize situations as permanent when they are
Yes.
temporary,
Thank
and
you.
decisions that are irreversible,
Yes. Yeah.
because they think that they are not thinking in a rational way. And as
Mm-hmm.
much as our physical health is important,
Yes.
mental health even takes on a greater level,
Yeah.
because it
Absolutely.
doesn't matter how physically healthy you are, if
Mm-hmm.
your mental health isn't in a certain space,
Yes.
you cannot optimize that physical health except in concert with
Yes.
a poor kind of thinking. So you
Yes.
might use it to beat people up.
Yes.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
might use it to jump over fences and steal things,
Mm-hmm.
right? You might use it to intimidate,
Mm-hmm.
because you're not in a mental state. So we need to figure out ways in which we can. So
Yeah.
how can we promote it? Or can we
Yeah.
promote positive mental health?
Yeah, very, very good. I'm gonna rewind the recording because you said it, I can't, I mean, you're spot on, spot on. With where culture is concerned and norms for people, societal norms. So one of the things we look at too, and Berger, we talk about this quite a bit, but in context to this is mentoring of young boys.
Yeah.
And there are a few organizations, not just in Jamaica, they're right across the globe that are looking at boys' health, both mental health, academic health, social health, and um, and even spiritual health of the young man to get them to be balanced basically. So one of the things that I push for and I promote this a lot is mentorship of young boys in especially around age 10 and 11,
Yeah.
even earlier too, but 10 and 11, 12, 13, to mentor them into something that is acceptable to in the region that they're living in society, so in order for them to make better decisions. Yeah,
Yeah.
so, and it's a lot in that regard, where the focus on the boys and partnering with the teachers, partnering with guidance counselors and principals and so on, schools in general, to get them aware of themselves, to get them aware of their own personality type and their temperament or their reaction to certain stimuli, as it were, in society, so that they won't go off the edge. As you said, they won't jump a fence and steal anything. They
Yeah.
won't react in a certain way that will cause danger and violence to other people.
Yeah, and obviously, if they are not mentally healthy, then they're not ready to receive learning
Yeah.
because brain is not in a place where it can understand the benefits
Mm-hmm.
of learning. It
Yeah.
sees it as a hindrance to the thoughts.
Yeah.
There are many, you know, there are many aspects to this in terms of its manifestation in crime or into introversion or into societal isolations or into perverted behavior, or just people losing their mind totally, not being able to cope with the stresses that exist. So, we need to look keenly. You mentioned mentoring as a way in which we can break the cycle. Because what mentoring needs to include is saying it is okay not to be okay. Yeah. It's a slogan that is out there. It's okay to not be okay. And there's a movie I watched called The Greatest Marigold Hotel, something like that.
Ah,
And it
yeah.
says it will be all right in the end. So if it is not all right, then it's not the end.
Yeah.
You
Ah, that's
Those
nice.
are the things we need to get those messages across that don't have a permanent solution for a temporary
Yeah.
problem. I want to let people to know that they can talk to people. Go and talk to people, talk to your pastor, talk to a person in the society that you trust. If it's a child, find an adult that you need to talk to in school and let them know the thoughts you're having. Because there is no teachers, a lot of teachers are suffering and they manifest that, they talk to students and talk to their colleagues. They manifest it in a way that tells that something isn't okay. You tell them a positive thing and they find a negative way of experiencing it. Nothing works for them and them it's a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
one of the things we have to do is say to people, there's a lovely question you can ask people when they're losing them. And just ask them, are they okay?
Yeah.
Repeat it. Are you okay? And
I-
it's a way of and the first time you ask a person, they might not even know. I say, no, 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 that's not what I'm asking. Not if
mm,
you're physical. I said, okay, they might do something that's way out, right? And you might say, I just need to know if are you okay?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that normally can open the door to say, I am someone who will listen. And the next level of this is, just as I stay on this point, is that school leaders need to be more aware
Yeah.
of the fact that not everybody is equally at the same level of mental health.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just like how we have first aid for like getting a cut. There are courses that are being created called mental health first aid, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea behind it is if you come across a person who is not necessarily in their right frame of mind,
Mm-hmm.
what do you do to calm them down? What do you say so that they can understand? This is mental health first aid, and there are training that people can get for this.
Yeah.
Question is, are our leaders trained in that way? Have these capacities to respond, or do they fight fire with fire?
Mm-hmm.
Do they go, calm down, be a man, stop the rubbish? You know what I mean? Or do they go, so tell me more, or let's talk about it. Let's go for a walk, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
And these are powerful things also for teachers to use with students because our kids aren't all okay. They're coming, I mean, come on, look at the backgrounds that I came from and you have described yours as well. These
Mm-hmm.
are not okay backgrounds,
No, no, no.
you grew up in poverty,
Mm-hmm.
not
Yeah.
knowing, you grew up without your parents sometimes present in the house that you're living in. I mean, you grew up without being sure of whether you're going to be able to go to a class party because you might not have clothes to wear, or your parents might just not send you. Yeah,
It's
because it's gonna cost them money and
mm,
it's a waste of money as far as they're concerned. You
mhm.
grew up knowing that, so you grew up with many things not present, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's true. When you're talking, it reminds me of what we do now to contribute um to the solution is one of the things we ask to is it's a mindful question, like mindful exercises.
yep.
You say, "Are you okay?" We ask, "How is your internal weather?"
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah, how is your
Right.
internal weather? How are you feeling? Um,
Is that, yep, yep.
And one of the other ones too, Barker, is I'm trying to remember as I'm talking, is how are you showing up today?
That's a nice one as well. But we need to
Yeah.
teach our, and these are valid questions for anyone,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
honest. One that I know that I've used as well is how are you feeling within yourself?
Yeah. That's the weather system. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How are
Yeah.
you feeling within yourself? Yeah. In yourself.
Yeah.
And this is a lot to do with taking it away from what you're showing me
Yeah.
and what's going
Mm,
on. And I've
mm,
used that to good effect as
yeah.
well. We're talking with teachers in particular when I want to dig a little deeper. But
Mm,
the point here is school is where the government has the greatest impact on everyone
yes. Yeah.
because every child is expected to go to school. And in Jamaica, education is compulsory up to grade 9.
Mm-hmm.
After that, you can do what you
Yeah.
want to do.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is compulsory up to grade 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's fully funded between primary school and the first 3 years of
High school.
high school. In
Mm-hmm.
basic school, it's not fully funded, it's partially funded.
Yeah.
And from 11 to 12 is seen as you making a decision. I mean,
Mm.
recently we heard Faval Williams saying that they want to extend that to sixth form,
They
but
have.
they want to. There's a whole
Yeah.
difference between saying it
Oh,
and
they
putting the
yeah.
funding in.
Yeah. Funded.
The
Yeah.
dropout rate of kids right now from grade 9 is very high,
Yeah. Yeah.
very high. So there's a whole balance about how do you fix that problem, because the dropout for teenage pregnancy are teenage fathers, or the dropout for crime or lack of resources,
Yeah.
getting
Very.
incarceration, all kind of stuff happen from grade 9 onwards. They get through puberty and then the mental health picture goes out. So I suppose there is a win for us in terms of if we have a clearer policy that affects more people, but younger.
Mm-hmm.
Like in grade 4, grade 5, we're beginning to give them the tools so that they can express their mental health, either positive or negative, so that it can be addressed. We need to get
Yeah.
that mental health.
They need to. It falls under SEL,
It
social
does.
emotional learning, and they really need to. They need to implement it as part of the regular
Well,
curriculum.
with a goal to step,
Yeah.
we have to see
Yeah.
that low retention rates after grade 9
Right.
are connected to something that we can fix,
Mm-hmm.
because our students are not resilient enough. So they get to grade 9 and the same challenges that exist in grade 8, they can't bother anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are the pressures to fit in at that age, they cannot be bothered with the constraints. So you find, as I said, you have teenage pregnancy happening because they are far more willing to try things because they're
Yeah.
older and they're still free.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no social safety net in Jamaica, not like in the US or UK, where maybe the government can give you
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
There's no social safety net. So you're pretty much taking a pathway. And then what you do now is create children in those environments that come back and feed the system. So the
Yeah.
point is, we really need to be looking at grade 3, grade 4, giving students the tools, a program of mentorship that happens at that age, where students from those ages become not only self-helpers, but peer helpers, support each other in developing and utilizing the tools that leads to better mental health. Just like a person go to the gym and lift weight to build up them physical health and run and walk, the kids also need to be trained through mindfulness activities and situational awareness situations. They are trained in handling complex mental health scenarios so that they are not only physically fit, but they are mentally fit as well.
Mentally fit, yeah. We're gonna close off right there. Mentally and physically fit. It's very good. Love your sharing, Dr. Barker. Love it. Guys, I hope everybody learned something. And for the last couple of days of June, enjoy Men's Mental Health Month. June next year we'll do a better job with promoting mental health among men. Walk good, everybody. See you all next week with another episode of EduTALK. Dr. Barker, enjoy the week. Enjoy June, the rest of June. And we'll talk soon.
Yes, and if you need to talk, Dr. Dice, I'm here for you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so
Always, always,
yeah,
always.
yeah. All right. Well, good everybody. Bye bye.